from Friends and Strangers. Helen Mirren is here. She is one of the most talented actors anywhere. She is known for portraying strong women. In 2003, she was made a Dame of the British Empire. At the 2006 Emmys, she won for Outstanding Lead Actress in a miniseries for her work in Elizabeth I. In her latest role, she embodies Queen Elizabeth II. For her performance in The Queen, she was awarded the Best Leading Actress award at the Venice Film Festival. Here she is as Queen Elizabeth I and Queen Elizabeth II.
Everything I have is yours.
Well, let us pretend that it is yours. It will spice up the act of crossing the threshold. Oh, you're looking at my ankle, Essex.
Well, Your Majesty has a very well-shaped ankle and a perfect figure.
Yes, well, I have a grateful nation gnawing at my insides.
How nice to see you again, Mr. Blair. Please, do sit down. Have we shown you how to start a nuclear war yet?
No.
Oh, first thing we do, apparently. Then we take away your passport and spend the rest of the time sending you around the world.
You obviously know my job better than I do.
Yes, well, you are my 10th Prime Minister, Mr. Blair. My first, of course, was Winston Churchill.
Also joining me is director Stephen Frears. His films include Dangerous Liaisons, High Fidelity, and Mrs. Henderson Presents. Here is the trailer for his film, The Queen.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm sorry to disturb, but it's the Princess of Wales.
Why? What's she done now?
Have some very sad news to bring you.
Diana, Princess of Wales, has died after a car crash in Paris.
The Prime Minister, Tony Blair,
Is about to make a statement.
Princess Diana touched the lives of so many others. She was the people's princess.
No member of the royal family will speak publicly about this. Diana's no longer a member of the royal family.
What are you talking about?
Charles, this is a private matter. We do things in this country quietly, with dignity.
Will someone please save these people from themselves?
Questions are being asked about why the Queen hasn't addressed her subjects at this time of national grief.
The Prime Minister for you, ma'am.
You've seen today's papers. 70% of people believe that your actions have damaged the monarchy.
Who does he think he's talking to?
Can you imagine I'm going to drop everything and come down to London before I attend to my grandchildren? Then you're mistaken.
Try and see it from her perspective. She's been brought up to believe it's God's will. She is who she is.
I think we should leave God out of it.
What would you suggest, Prime Minister? Some kind of a statement?
The moment for statements has passed.
Are you all right?
Something's happened. There's been a change, some shift in values. Maybe he's got a point. What if my actions are damaging the crown? I prefer to keep my feelings to myself. Foolishly, I believe that was what the people wanted from their queen. When you no longer understand your people, maybe it is time to hand it over to the next generation.
I am pleased to have them both here to talk about this film and other things. Welcome back. Nice to see you, my friend. Nice. Welcome. Tell me about playing this queen who's alive and these events are recent.
Well, the most intimidating, of course, the most terrifying prospect. The only thing that made it palatable was the fact that Stephen was directing and Peter Morgan was writing it.
Now, why did it make it palatable that Stephen was directing?
Because they were a team who'd already done an incredible piece called The Deal, which was about the background to the Gordon Brown-Tony Blair relationship before Tony Blair came into power. And it was a brilliant piece of work on every level. The acting, the writing, the tone of it was very, very good, serious but kind of comedic. So at least I felt that I was in safe hands because it's a hot potato in England. You know, you cannot go anywhere near this subject without being under the most intense kind of scrutiny. It's a hot potato.
You mean scrutiny by the press, or scrutiny by the royal family, or scrutiny
No, by the press, but also by everyone.
the public.
By everybody.
By everybody.
Everybody knows everything we know. You know, they are so present in our lives. You know, you post a letter, there's a picture of the Queen on the stamp. So everybody knows everything. So it's not.
Yeah, but
like
they don't know. They feel like they're going inside with a movie like this. They feel like that this is something they didn't know before.
Yes, absolutely, but they're measuring it against what they already know. So, do we believe this? Is this plausible? You are dealing. There is nothing new in the story. They all know the story. I'm talking about Britain, of course.
So, how did Peter approach this from a script standpoint?
Well, very unexpectedly. Not how you would expect. You would. I mean, if you were making a film about the death of Diana, you wouldn't normally tell it from the Queen's point of view. That was his originality. You'd normally tell it from, I don't know, you know, all of us, we all saw it on television, didn't we? Yes. So suddenly the idea of going inside, that's what's so original about it.
And also the weird contradiction in England, in Britain, I always call it England, Britain, is that although the royal family, the monarchy, is generally a very beloved and respected institution, exactly parallel with that, we have a huge tradition of satirising and criticising and mocking the royal family, and really that's what people usually expect. If you're doing anything about the royal family, people expect, especially if you come from the world that we come from, the arts world, they expect a mocking, satirical kind of take on it. And in a strange way, what was controversial about this film is the fact that actually it's not
mocking and satirical.
Mocking and satirical.
This is unheard of. Never happened before.
Exactly.
This is completely original.
Are you a monarchist?
Well, I'm a queenist, if there is such a word.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there may be now.
It's hard not to admire her. She's clearly an extraordinary woman. Do I think the...
How so?
Well, Helen explains it rather well. It's all really to do with the generation of our mothers and fathers who grew up in much the same way, with the same sort of values, and their values that have gone in England. So in celebrating her, you're really celebrating your own parents, or the world you came from, that world of self-discipline and stoicism, and lived through the war, and, you know, rather enduring heroic women.
And constancy, too. I think that's the other remarkable thing about the Queen is that, and, you know, I suspect she's blessed with a lack of imagination.